Well, everyone, we have made it. Today is September 5th. Welcome to another yearly football prediction video. And of course, the ESPN football music's always got to fit the soundtrack. Okay, everyone. So we're going to get right into it. Let's predict what will happen in this interesting season. Obviously, the questions will be, can Kansas City repeat again? Who knows with the Super Chiefs? They're becoming the modern day Tom Brady repeats of the New England Patriots. But nonetheless to say, I don't predict playoffs. I don't ever like doing it. But let's just predict. And let's just go with what the regular season will go with here. So I guess I'm going to start with the NFC this year. I'm going to start off with the number one seed in the NFC. So your number one seed will be the San Francisco 49ers. Look, they're going to be a hungry team this year. I really think that after what happened last year, they're still title contenders. They are definitely in that conversation of a team that can make another Super Bowl run again. But here's going to be the thing that will put the 49ers off the top. Now, everybody's going to talk, oh, if Purdy does well, does he get his contract extension next year? I certainly think Brock can play up to the level that he's capable of doing. And then what will happen is, he still has Ayuk. All right, he still has Debo. He still has two of the best receivers in the league. He has McCaffrey. All right, so that definitely helps him out in terms of, two top receivers. And then obviously McCaffrey, who I think could literally go for a 1,000 rushing yard season this year. He's definitely capable of doing that. And then, of course, another top target on that offensive line is George Kittle. And then, I like their fullback. The Ravens, again, have Pancake, and we'll get to him in just a bit. But Ricard's a good fullback. Just another good fullback. So the offensive line is going to be very good. The only thing I wonder is Trent Williams. How is he going to do? Is he going to stay healthy? You need that left tackle. He's pretty good at keeping, Purdy in check. And most of the offensive line is. So, the way I look at it, the 49ers are definitely going to be a team that can win 13 or 14 games. So, to be on the safe side, I'm going to go with the 49ers number one seed. They will end up with 13 wins, 13 losses, and again, you're going to see them hungrier more than ever. Just like how I think the next following team will be just as hungry as them. And San Francisco will win the NFC West, and then your 2 seed will be your NFC North winning Detroit Lions. Now, I'm going to go with a couple of reasons why the Lions will be just as hungry as the Niners. Now, both teams went to the NFC title game last year. Now, yes, Jared Goff during the season will be turning 30. But I hope that Father Time won't slow him down anytime soon. There's no question that, yeah, you have seen quarterbacks in their 30s win championships. And it has happened before. But the point is, Goff is just on another elite level. And when you look at the Lions in terms of, what do they really have going for them besides, Jared Goff? Well, when you look at the roster, and when you look at the, depth chart, you say to yourself, they looked impressive. I mean, they looked okay, right? I mean, they certainly went to the NFC title game last year, which there were very high expectations. that David Montgomery was going to do well in the run game. You look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, I mean, he's going to be the main receiver that Goff throws to. You still got Jameson Williams. You still got Khalif Raymond. Now, Sam Laporta, that could be an issue. He's got to stay healthy. Because Laporta is good at blocking on the offensive line, but I don't know. I still think if Goff can play to the elite level that he's capable of playing at, then you certainly put that conversation that they're going to be the 2 seed. Now, if I were to give an accurate number here, I will go with a record of 12-5. Okay, so we'll go 12-5. And I accidentally got the number wrong for the Niners. So that's 13-4, right? Because you have to add that extra game in now. See, now I got my numbers in check. So you'll have San Francisco 13-4. You will have then the Lions 12-5. So now we're going to go directly to the NFC East. And I'm going to go with the obvious. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, why do I think that the Eagles, with a record of 11-6, are going to win their division? I'm going to be honest here. I think Jalen Hurts is on his revenge tour. He wants to win the NFC East this year. Now, I am not the biggest Philadelphia Eagles supporter. In fact, I despise the Philadelphia Eagles. But given the fact that the Eagles have too many high expectations going into the season, Jalen Hurts, and now especially add on the fact that you're going to have 2 running people, yes, let's call them for what they are, 2 people who can run with the football, both Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, and then not on to mention the fact that, look at A.J. Brown, look at Devontae Smith. Okay, I don't know about tight end. But I'll tell you this right now. The Eagles are going to fly onto that division. I'm going to say it for what it is now. I am not a believer of the Dallas Cowboys. I am not a believer of the New York Giants. And I'm certainly not a believer in the fact that you're going to have, I'm sorry. I'm just not sold on Dallas. It's the same overhyped team every year. Everybody makes this, look at the Cowboys. This is our year. Hey, who knows? Maybe they can end up being the Atlanta Braves of, football, and somehow they end up winning the championship. Okay, so what if Ezekiel Elliott's back? Alright, so what if you have CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks? It's not enough. They're not elite receivers. No. So Philadelphia wins the division. And again, I'm going to go with a record of 11-6 as your 3rd seed. Now, let's get into the NFC South. Now, last year was a very rough year for the New Orleans Saints. Here's why I think the Saints are going to win the division with a record of 10-7. Let's face it, that NFC South division is going to be tough. Atlanta has a good quarterback, and certainly Tampa has a good quarterback. Carolina is still rebuilding. But the thing is, Derek Carr is going to be hungry. And you still got Alvin Kamara. Now, okay, is Rashid Shaheed going to be healthy? I don't know. Is Juwan Johnson, their tight end, going to be healthy? I don't know. But if they can stay healthy, they are certainly a team that is capable of winning a division title in New Orleans. Now, even though, yes, I'd like to see Tampa get another division title again, here's why I think they're going to get one of the wild card spots. So let's transition into the wild card right now. So first up, I think if you're going to make the wild card, you're going to have a 9-8 record. I can't go with numbers specifically on 5, 6, 7. Because I think the NFC wild card is going to be too good this year. Maybe Dallas has a chance. Maybe if the Giants figure it out, I don't know. But here's why I think Tampa will make the playoffs. And I'll go into the obvious reason. So Baker just got a massive contract deal. Okay? So Mayfield gets a big contract. And I think, if Baker somehow can play decent, I mean, he certainly played okay last year. In that Tampa Bay team, it's Baker or bust. You still have Mike Evans. You still have Chris Godwin. Rachaad White, I don't know if he can get going on the run game, but if White can get some good yards this year. Again, I think a 9-8 record can certainly get the Tampa Bay Bucks back into the playoffs, but could it win the division like it did last year? Maybe. Could it get you a wild card this year? Yes. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Tampa. I think they will end up with one of the wild card spots at 9-7. Now, in terms of who I think will also make the playoffs, oh, my bad, 9-8. See, again, I'm so used to the old numbers. So 9-8 will get you in. Another team that should make it maybe 10-7 or 9-8. I'm going to go with the Rams. And here's why I think the Rams could get into the playoffs. So, Stafford's still playing at elite level, okay? He can still get you, a good amount of play time. Now, can you believe Jimmy Garoppolo got suspended? What? How in the world does Jimmy G end up on the Rams and he gets suspended? What? Okay. I'm like, buddy, we don't take performance-enhancing drugs. Why? So, if something happens to Stafford in the first 2 games, Jimmy G just screwed himself. Why? But in any regard, eventually when the Rams figure it out, because this is a long season, and the Rams figure out how to take care of Ram things, like they always have and they always will, okay? This is where I think the Rams do have the benefit of the doubt going for them. I think if you look at Cooper Kupp, if Njoku can stay healthy, if Higbee can stay healthy too, I mean, they do have injuries, but if they can stay healthy, good team that can get you in the playoffs with 9 wins or 10 wins. So let's go with the fact, I'm going to say it now, Rams are making the playoffs. And then my third team, who am I going to go with? Tough decision here, but this could be very iffy. I think if I were to do a tiebreaker scenario, I think that last wild card spot could end up either going to the Dallas Cowboys or could end up going to the Atlanta Falcons. Now, let me get into Atlanta's situation. Now, I'm not going to go with the definite, but let's just pick Atlanta for video's sake. So let's show the Atlanta Falcons picture on the screen right now, and I'll get into the reason why I think the Falcons will make the playoffs and not the Dallas Cowboys. So, in the offseason, guess who joined the Falcons? The unlikeliest person. It is Kirk Cousins. And look how many quarterbacks they have on the roster. You have Michael Penix, who just got drafted. You have a decent third-string Tyler Heineke. You have Drake London, Darnell Mooney. The thing is, who impresses me? Kyle Pitts. He's a good, he's a good tight end. And especially because I like seeing, Younghoe Koo. He's a good kicker. I mean, if he's able to get that big moment this year, You could see Younghoe get a big moment this year. That would be interesting. But in any of the less, I think the Falcons can get in with a 9-8 record. It's possible. Maybe the Cowboys do. Maybe. I'm sorry, but I'm just not sold on the Giants. I'm just not yet. Daniel Jones has to prove to me this year that he can stay healthy. Let's just face it for what it is, okay? If somehow, in some way, that Daniel Jones can get back to that same elite level he got into in 2022, right? Here's the thing. Guess who's the backup to Daniel Jones this year? It's Drew Lock. Really? I don't think anybody wants to see Drew Lock as the second string quarterback. God forbid Daniel Jones gets injured again. I think Tommy DeVito should get another chance if things don't work out with Daniel Jones this year. Take it game by game. If the Giants end up losing, I think, the first 3 or 4 games in New York, right? I'm sorry. I put DeVito in week 4. If I'm Brian Daboll, I'm making that decision. I'm just going to show the Giants, as I just transitioned. By now, you should have saw the Giants picture come in, but yes, maybe the Giants proved me wrong. I don't know. I'm not sold on Singletary. Can he do well in the run game? I don't know. Slayton's got to stay healthy on the wide receiver end of things. Bellinger's got to stay healthy. Everybody's got to stay healthy. I'm not sold on the wide receivers. I'm sorry. So, let's just go to the AFC. I'm done talking about I wanted to get the NFC over with because I knew it was going to give me agita. Now it's time to predict the AFC. Number 1, sorry to say this, but Kansas City is Kansas City. They're going to end up winning a lot of games. Defending Super Bowl champs. 14-2 is your final record. Number 1 seed. I don't want to talk about Mahomes. I don't want to talk about Kelsey. I don't want to talk about anybody else on that team. So can we just please move on? Get that picture off the screen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. That's more like it. Baltimore Ravens. The year of redemption. Can they match up to get the 1 seed? It's going to take a miracle. But for talking points, let's get into why they will end up with 13 wins and 3 losses. Lamar Jackson is hungrier than ever. He just won his 2nd MVP last year. And talking Maryland, on both sides of the Chesapeake, is he going to do well this year? From Baltimore all the way to Delmarva, the questions come to Lamar. Can he bring the Lombardi Trophy home? Not only to Baltimore, but for the entire Maryland state. On both sides of the Chesapeake. We will have to wait and find out, because right now, given the circumstances, and I'm going to say it for what it is, the Ravens have the roster to get them back to another NFC championship game. So, this is the way I look at it. Alright? So, depth chart. I don't know how I feel about the backup QB situation. Josh Johnson, mediocre. So, basically, this team was built for Lamar. And if Lamar gets injured, because again, you know how Lamar can get injured. I really hope we don't have to have a different discussion, because this might be the year where I might panic that Lamar is not playing. Now, running backs, you got Derrick Henry, you got Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell. I'd like to see him get some play time. And Zay Flowers, all I gotta say about you, you're getting over your rookie hump. You need to do better this year. Yes, there's Rashawn Bateman. Alright, you don't have Odell Beckham anymore. In fact, he barely played last year. But if Bateman can do well and Aguilar can do well, you have good receivers this year. Mark Andrews is still on this team. you still got Patrick Ricard, who can help Lamar run with those magical feet, as I like to call it. So yeah, let's face it for what it is. This Ravens team is the Ravens for a reason, and they gotta be competitive. And I think they will win the division. I don't want to hear about Cleveland winning the division. I don't want to hear about Cincinnati. This is the Ravens Super Bowl year or bust. This has to be the year. I keep saying that, everybody. Even if you got to get past Aaron Rodgers and the Jets if it comes to that, you have to go to the Super Bowl this year. Otherwise, it's John Harbaugh's head that has to come off. So your Baltimore Ravens will end up with a record of 13-3. Now we are going to move on to the AFC East. And oh, am I going to regret saying this, but the New York Jets have to win their division. I'm going to say it now. The Jets have to win the division, and here's the reason why. Aaron Rodgers is going to be the most hungry he has ever been in his entire career. You know what Aaron Rodgers is seeing in his eyes? He's seeing green all over. Not just money, not just Pat McAfee whispering in his ear, not just, everybody else telling him things. You know why he's seeing green? Because he wants to see green confetti if it's for a Jets Super Bowl championship. Alright? And you could say all you want about the New York Jets, but if Aaron Rodgers is able to stay healthy this year, and given the circumstances of why I think the Jets are capable of winning the division this year, because Buffalo's not the same team anymore, I am not sold on the Dolphins. I'm sorry, I'm not sold on Miami. Well, just because Tagovailoa's asking for money? And, God forbid Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. Think about this. You have Tyrod Taylor. I certainly want to see Tyrod play if something bad happens to Aaron again. Which, again, I don't want to see anything bad happen to Aaron. I want him to stay healthy. Who doesn't want him to stay healthy? Unless you're a Bills, Patriots, or Dolphins fan. Just saying. But Breece Hall, he's capable of a 1,000-yard rushing season. You got Garrett Wilson, alright? Garrett's definitely capable of going back to an elite level. Now, I want to see Lazard get more play time. Lazard's got to be the other main receiver that Rodgers can throw to, because they have chemistry from Green Bay. Tyler Conklin, he's a decent tight end, but, the bottom line is, you're going to see the Jets more hungrier than ever. And I will just say it for what it is. 11-6. Jets win the AFC East, for the first time in a very long time, which they are way overdue to do it. And I think this is the year the Jets do that. And I certainly think that if Aaron Rodgers is back to playing the same elite level he was in Green Bay, you're going to see that end up in New York. And I hope I'm right. And I hope that we get to see a full year of Aaron Rodgers, even if it's not the best of seasons for him, but, he'll get to go out his way this time and not the way of a stretcher. Because we don't want that to happen again. Oh, by the way, NFL, shame on you. Didn't you learn your lesson? Why have the Jets open on Monday night again? So anyhow, we now move on to the AFC South. And I will go into the reason why I think the Jacksonville Jaguars will end up winning their division with a record of 10-7. I think this year, and given the circumstances, okay, the Jaguars were certainly up in contention to dethrone Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs last year. They were up there. Trevor Lawrence was playing really well last season until something happened. Come on, Tony Khan. Why did you let this team collapse? This year, I hope Tony does not let that happen in that regard. But, here's the thing. Somehow, some way, Tony learned his lesson. Mac Jones is your backup quarterback? What? Alright, you have Evan Ingram, a good tight end. Anthony, I don't know. I'm not thrilled with him at running back, but Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis are good receivers. So the Jaguars are capable of winning your division again, like they did in 2022. And everybody will be chanting, Duval! Alright, so now with that being all said, let's get into your wild cards. So, here's why I think the Houston Texans will make the playoffs. Now, the Texans still have CJ Stroud. Stephon Diggs is on the team. You got Joe Mixon. I think if things go well for the Texans, they're certainly capable of being, I don't know, maybe the Jaguars can win 11 games, and then maybe the Texans can win 10 games, and then you look at it and you say to yourself, okay, there's a good chance that this Texans team is capable of getting into the wild card, and it certainly is possible. So I think Houston will make the playoffs, and then we move on from there. Okay. Now to my other team in the AFC that will make the playoffs. And I will go with the Cincinnati Bengals. And the reason why I think the Bengals will make the playoffs is because I think Joe Burrow will have a healthy season. The Bengals still have a good roster, okay? If Burrow can play to the elite level he did when he took the Bengals to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and the Bengals, again, they're in my division, earned my respect for the fact they were able to defeat the Kansas City Chiefs at one interesting year. Look, I mean, you still have Jamari Chase, you still have Zach Moss, you still have T. Higgins, you know, you have Jasewski, still the same team that got to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Why not the Bengals? Why not them make the playoffs again? So I certainly think they're capable of doing that. I can't give a win total, but maybe 11 or 12 wins is possible to get you into the playoffs. And then I'll go into the reason why I think the Buffalo Bills will be your last wild card team. Oh, Bills Mafia, you can strangle me now. You can tell me this, you can tell me that. But here's why I think your team will still make the playoffs. I still think Josh Allen is capable of playing at an elite level like he always is capable. Now, the good news is the Bills came prepared this year. God forbid Josh Allen gets injured, you're going to have Mitchell Trubisky as your backup quarterback. Now, you still have James Cook at your running back, but here's the problem. Wide receivers. What are you guys in Buffalo doing? If you don't have Scantling or Claypool as your main receiver, you're in very big trouble. So if Claypool and Scantling are not the two main receivers in Buffalo this year, I'm not thrilled with the roster depth. But if they're capable, that's the way I look at it. There you have it. Those are my predictions for the 2024 NFL season. Now, again, it is September 5th, so this is a reminder that tonight, the first game of the new season will be the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs playing the Baltimore Ravens on your local NBC station. And then this is a quick friendly reminder that tomorrow, September 6th, will be a Peacock-only exclusive game. So it will be in Brazil. The Green Bay Packers will be playing the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, keep this in mind. Check your local listings if you are in the Green Bay or Philadelphia TV market. The game will be shown locally live on a station. So just check your local listings. Maybe it's on a smartphone. Maybe it's traditional on your cable box. Or some digital converter boxes have channel listings. So anyhow, guys, let's enjoy this new football season. And again, the one thing I want to see, Aaron Rodgers, just please stay healthy this year. So until the next one, please take care.